We got some Overwatch 2 news this week, some Kingdom Hearts Missing Link leaks, if you're interested in those. Fire Emblem Engage looks pretty good, and Google Stadia RIP. Let's get into the game news. Welcome. We're talking about a few things today. Let's jump to our first story, which is Google Stadia. The shutdown is officially January 18th, which if you're watching this on YouTube, that will be today. If you're watching this live on Twitch, it's tomorrow. You better get your controller set up for Bluetooth support if you're one of the 10 people that actually bought a Stadia controller. And interestingly enough, I saw this, and it's neither here nor there because the service is dead. Apparently, they released a game last week on the 13th called Worm Game, and it was a game that they used to test things in Google Stadia as far as like streaming and stuff. Very interesting that they would do that. All I can say really is no one should be surprised by this. The writing was on the wall a few months in where they weren't like constantly hyping and marketing and making the service look good. On top of the failed promises of a lot of really cool YouTube integration that would have been awesome. There was so much potential there, and I just feel like they dropped the ball big time, or they realized how expensive it was to like do like, you know, graphics hardware for gaming and game streaming, and it's, you know, I don't know, it's Google and they do this to projects. I don't know why expense would be an option or would be a hindrance for them, excuse me. But anyway, so RIP Stadia, you existed for a little while. That's all I really have to say. I did try it once, it was okay. All right, moving on. We've got Fire Emblem Engage, which the pictures are not showing up. That's cool. Doing positive on Metacritic reviews. I guess the embargo was lifted today. 82 on Metacritic. Releases on the 20th. So if you love tactics games and you love Fire Emblem, this looks like the one to get on Switch. The game has leaked online, so be careful if you don't want spoilers. But it's cool. I'm not a big Fire Emblem fan myself, but it's cool to see this one doing really well. I think some of the character designs, which is all I've really seen, is like a few trailers and stuff. It looks legit. Like, I think it would be a fun game if I were into tactics games, but just not for me. But hey, if you like it, it's doing really well in reviews. So let's hope the hype keeps building. One thing I will note is now that this game is out, we should get something from Nintendo soon on pretty much not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom up to, you know, probably E3, you know, releases. I know we've got Kirby coming up. We've got Tears of the Kingdom coming up, but there's got to be more through the end of the year. So we'll see what Nintendo has. But yeah, anyway, moving on to Overwatch 2 news, which it's been a while since we have an update on this. The Lunar New Year event is live. Year of the Rabbit has begun. Brings back Capture the Flag, Bounty Hunter. You know, those modes are in. There's some event challenges, some Twitch drops. There's an Echo skin reward. In the Twitch drops, there's a Moira skin. All of these are lunar event themed. So, you know, most of these skins, honestly, like the two free ones anyway from Twitch and just from doing event challenges, if you've played Overwatch 1 pretty much at all in the last few years up to the release of Overwatch 2, you probably have gotten these skins before in the Lunar New Year event. But if you haven't and you're brand new, hey, free stuff. Check it out. I feel like a lot of these events don't mean as much because it just means, hey, you can go spend money in the store. It's kind of how I felt about Apex Legends store events that they would do. It's like, oh, there's new stuff to buy. Well, I'm not buying it. You know, like I just wasn't into buying all of the skins and stuff. And I'm kind of feeling that way here. I do the same thing with Halo Infinite. We may need to make a video about that. But anyway, yeah, it's cool. I like the events in Overwatch. I just feel like they've lost a lot of their meaning as far as being fun because it's not about the game modes. It's about the store update and the skins. And like the skins used to be a fun bonus because you could get them in a loot box or just spend gold on them while the event was live. And now it's just, hey, spend your actual money. But it's cool. I mean, the game's free to play. It's understandable. That's the structure now. Anyway, yeah, so that's it on Overwatch 2. Lunar New Year runs for, I think, through the end of January. So enjoy that. Let's talk about some Pokemon stuff. We've got Greninja finally coming back in a big way to a mainline Pokemon game. We've got the Poison Terra type Greninja, I don't know, he has a cool name and I don't have it in my notes, and that's my bad. But 7-star raids on January 27th through the 29th. Get your ground teams ready because you're gonna want to counter this pretty hard. I don't know. I haven't been able to participate in any of the raids yet that they've been doing, so I hope, you know, people enjoy this. It looks cool. I'm glad Greninja's back. Greninja's a sweet Pokemon, so that's really cool. And I like that they're keeping things semi-fresh with these, you know, raid events where they're doing these special Pokemon that you can only get in the raids, and I think that brings it makes the raids more important. I don't know if they did this in Sword and Shield because I just kind of glossed over that game while it was relevant, but the way that they're doing this over the weekend, it's cool because if you're going to play on the weekend, perfect. It's kind of disappointing for someone like me who doesn't get a lot of time to play on the weekend outside of the streams we do on the channel. So it's cool. I'm excited to see what else is coming though. Like, these raids keep adding some sweet Pokemon and are doing some interesting things. And 7 stars apparently really hard, but even if you fail, you get some good rewards out of it. So get your teams, get your friends, and go get you a Poison Terror type Greninja. All right, on to our biggest story. And it's been a while since we talked about Kingdom Hearts on the channel, and that's just because, I mean, there hadn't been that much news since the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer and all of the news that came out around that time. Apparently, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link has been in a closed beta in Japan, which is cool. I mean, that's understandable. But somebody leaked some images. I'm not showing them here because I don't know. I don't know if they're taking them down. All of this comes from KH13.com, who has been showing these images, having them translated. I just don't want to get in trouble from Square Enix for maybe showing images that shouldn't be shown to the public or weren't intended for public viewing. So that all being said, let's get into some of the details on this. It's very much feels like a bigger take on what Union Cross was doing. So the mobile game previous that was taken offline and now doesn't exist really anymore. You know, you've got raid bosses, you've got, you know, regenerating AP for battles and stuff. But it looks like the scale's bigger. It looks like the combat is more interesting. All of these are really static shots. I don't think there's been any video that I know of released, but we've got some look at the interface and how things are going to be working. There's some GPS modes. Reminds me of like Pokemon Go, where things will be on the map for you to go and interact with in the game. You know, overall, it looks very much like a mobile game. Does have an auto battle feature, which is kind of nice if you're in a place where, you know, you can't necessarily deal with something. You could just leave the game up, let it auto fight for you. Very similar to how like the Pokemon Go Plus accessory worked, where you didn't have to have the game pulled up, you know, in front of you to catch Pokemon. The only downside to that was you didn't know what you got. Whereas this, you'll probably set it to auto battle and the screen will just be awake the whole time. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but I'm looking forward to this because it looks more interesting than Union Cross did. It looks like there's more to do. So with that all being said, I'm excited, but kind of cautiously, right? Like, I really want to see more of this game. I want to know more of the story, but I hope it's not so like paywalled that you get to a point where, you know, if you're not going to dump some money into the game, it's not as easy to progress. That's likely what's going to happen, just seeing, you know, going on past experience with these free-to-play mobile games. I mean, they're going to make money somehow. I still think it's going to be fun, though. The combat looks sweet from the little bit of gameplay we've seen. Like I said, I'm just repeating myself. But anyway, overall, looks pretty exciting. But that'll do it for this week's game news. It's kind of short, I know, but it is what it is. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, we're about to go play some Pokemon Violet. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. If you like the game news show, let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to Kingdom Hearts Missing Link at all. And did you buy a Stadia controller? If you made it this far in the video, I need to know if you bought a Stadia controller. And with that, game news is done. We'll see you next week when we do another episode of the show.